Hey, everybody, welcome to the AI-powered marketing show, where every day we investigate and explore the intersection of artificial intelligence with cutting-edge digital marketing strategies. I'm your host, Keith Bell, and if you are a small business owner, digital marketer, entrepreneur, or just an AI geek like myself, you are in the right place. Today, we are joined by a special guest, Benjamin Brassington. He is a seasoned full stack developer with 12 plus years of experience. He's a visionary in AI automation and behavioral intelligence and the founder of automateboring.net. Please join me in welcoming to the show, Benjamin Brassington. How are you, Ben?
Good. I'm doing fantastic, Keith.
Cool. Now, I detect a little bit of an accent there.
Yeah, so from South Boston, as you can guess. So I usually say that to see how much people are paying attention. Like, South Boston, that doesn't sound right. Some people are like, oh yeah, that fits. No, it's Australia. I've been over here for now 15 odd years. So yeah.
Yeah. Now where are you at now? Because Arkansas pops out in my head.
Yeah, so I was in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We've just moved over to Missouri, Avon, Missouri, little small town, which is where it's part of the lab to one of the companies we just acquired, and one of the companies we're using AI to scale.
Okay.
So it's just north of Branson, Missouri, which they call the Christian Vegas.
Yeah.
So a very interesting area. It's a beautiful part of the country. I never realized how spectacular this part of the country really is.
Yeah, a lot of shows out there. A lot of different, I guess, country music shows. I've never been to Branson, but I've heard a lot about it. So we were talking before we got started here. You and I kind of share a similar background in the law enforcement community. I wonder if you could just talk about, your background and how you took that and applied that to what you're doing now.
Well, what's interesting is your background is on one side of the fence, and I'm literally on the other side of the fence. So I did a law and criminology degree from Australia. So that's convict law, if you're not aware of what that means. So I did that in Australia, and I actually got taught by a lot of people in the FBI, CIA trainers for body language, linguistics, all this type of stuff on criminal profiling. Then I fell into the world of business ownership, marketing, sales, consulting, and I was always bringing this criminal profiling flair to business, be it either understanding and profiling target audiences or user demographics. All that means for people is like, hey, who the hell is my customer? And if you say, well, anybody is your customer, you're mistaken. You actually have a specific person. If you hear people used to say, if they fog up a mirror, they're my customer. I'm like, well, no, that means you're just going to waste a lot of money on a lot of people. You will have a certain demographic. That means age, race, stereotype. Your customers will drive a specific car. They'll go to a specific church or church group. They'll have political beliefs. They'll have religious beliefs. They'll have buying patterns. They'll have other products that they buy. And you'd be like, well, this sounds like a lot of work I've got to understand. But the more you understand that, the richer you will become, because you can optimize how you attract clients. And I think this whole process really taught me the lessons of, you want to be careful about who you do work with, because you can also attract the wrong type of clients. And I had a friend for many, many years who always would say to me, Ben, what's your no list? Who won't you work with? And I never really processed that until I had you have those bad clients. You're like, why the hell am I working for this so-and-so? Right. And that might be challenging to a lot of the business owners listening, because they may not have a no list. Like I tell people I have a no dick policy. So as soon as you're rude, you become a bit of an arrogant individual to any of my team members. It's just like, I don't care how much you're paying us or how much money we've made you. We move on, because life's too short. So I applied that whole criminal profiling background to business development, business growth. For probably the last 20 years, I fell into the world of technology, automation, augmentation, app building. We published 300 apps. We've built software. We've published books. We've helped companies grow. So we've helped companies improve profitability, going from 50 random employees to 3 high-performing people who made more money, to helping companies now deploy AI robots in their company to augment their employees is what we do now.
So it's interesting because I just closed my agency back in August, and a benchmark question that I always ask people is, who's your ideal customer? And
yeah, so
if I get
that's very, very fascinating.
Yeah, if I get the blank stare, like, my what? I'm like, who's your ideal customer? I know right from the get-go when I ask that question that I've got a problem.
Exactly.
And it's like, I think I'm going to stay away from this guy. So, but I've always operated under the assumption, when my audience is small business, small business to me is like a little coffee shop, a local place, but small business could be as many as 100 employees. But you said something really interesting in our pre-conversation, that was, just because you have a lot of employees doesn't make you profitable. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to work with companies as large as 100,000 employees. And yeah, they're making a lot of money, but they have to be making a lot of money to actually justify the payroll too. So one of the things that I'm seeing is that we're seeing smaller companies, less than 10 employees, maybe 2, 3, 4 employees, be making somewhere between $2 to $10 million a month. That's not yearly. That's not annually. That's monthly. And that's to show the new power of technologies and automations. I know I'm building a company right now where we'll have less than 5 people and we'll be several $1 million a month as well. So you can build it that way. And what I see is a lot of companies who start hiring people, because this used to be the methodology. I need some marketing people, or I need a marketing team. So let me go hire a head of marketing and then hire an article writer, then write a graphics person. And before you know it, you've got a team of 5, 10, 15 people. Doesn't mean they're efficient and profitable. But we used to automate with people. We've been trained to automate with people. Now technology can literally do what people did. So therefore, you should be thinking about, how do I automate or systemize that role? And what systems do my people run? Because you can even have a team of AI CFOs. You can have a legal team. You could have 10 lawyers working for you who are all AI, where you have a human lawyer validate and finalize things for you. So therefore, you're more effective and you're no longer paying the several $100s an hour. So I'm seeing there's this huge conflict that's happening in the marketplace right now, because a lot of roles can be automated. A lot of roles are being in the process of automating, and a lot of companies want to automate, but their employees aren't adapting their to-do list, their task list, their role. And as a result, the automation projects fail because of employee sabotage. So I think this is one of the biggest problems with any business right now. If you've got 5, 10, 50, 100 employees, you're going to have employees telling you that we cannot automate this because I am so super special. But all they're doing is data entry. All they're doing is moving data from one system to another, or they're not effectively trained. A lot of people with IT skills deliberately and we might say unintentionally bamboozle the less educated to show their superiority. And as a result, you don't realize that they could be automated to be more efficient. And I think this is the big questions people need to be asking themselves as a business owner, small, big, large, is how do I gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace and use my size to my advantage? Because I can afford to have 10 robot employees producing 80%, 70% effectiveness rather than one employee producing usually less. And a lot of people say the standard is meant to be higher, but most employees make mistakes every freaking day. Yet, like, they justify that, oh, that's acceptable because it's a human, but a computer's got to be 100% perfect every minute of every day. And I think that standard is, like, you're not perfect in what you do. You have a standard that you find acceptable. Doesn't mean it's even good.
Now, automation, it's a AI automation right now is a big popular buzzword, but automation has been around for years, and AI has been around for years. Talk about how you've seen, AI influence automation over the past 5-10 years.
Yeah, so it's always been around, and it was called robotic process automation, right? Or custom software is literally automation. People need to think of AI automation as the process of systemizing or automating any simple task. And the thing is that it only became mainstream when ChatGPT got released. And when ChatGPT, these models got released, you could create work. And what's funny is most people never thought that the jobs that are getting automated would be automated first. Doctors, lawyers, professionals. We've been automating pilots for the last 20 years, flying planes. The only thing pilots do is take off the plane and land the plane based on law, even though the autopilot is more efficient and effective. So people are like, well, you can't automate my role, right? And they might be just doing invoicing, accounts, taxation, whatever it is. We helped one tax company automate 2.5 hours of tax work to get it done in 60 seconds. And as a result, they removed their fulfillment bottleneck. So they were able to scale from $250,000 to $100 million in tax credits processed in less than 8 months because they didn't have a fulfillment bottleneck. So one of the things is if those type of roles can be automated, and if you can even leverage automation now with heart surgeons who will perform open heart surgery on you, they'll literally slice you open. The surgeon is not even in the room. The surgeon could be in a hospital on the other side of the country or the world. Yet you're telling me that your job is so complicated that it can't be automated. And there's a lot of false beliefs and false narratives around what is important and what we're doing is most valuable. And I don't think a lot of people really ask the right question, which is what I'm doing now or on a daily basis the most profitable thing I could be doing for the business? Or is it just something that keeps me busy?
Right. It's just busy work. Yeah. I automate so many of my processes because, I'm a one-man band.
100%.
I automate as much as I possibly can. I use Make to do a lot of my automations, and I write a newsletter every week, and it's pretty much written before I publish it on Monday because I have a regular automation set up. But what kind of business processes are you and your company automating? What types of things?
We've automated everything from invoice processing to report reconciliation. So taking your financial reports, running them, and analyzing them for contract inaccuracies or overbilling or underbilling from your vendors or your third parties. We've done this for merchant companies where we analyze 9,000 statements. I have automated the entire process of submitting for tax credits. So literally analyzing your tax return, analyzing all the variables to understand, did you get the right tax credit? Was it filed correctly? If not, creating the new forms for the IRS, submitting them on your behalf so you get these tax credits. We just automated the process of writing blog posts, and we publish about 5,000 blog posts a month for our own company. We've automated the process of optimizing our Facebook ads. So most people, we'll put it in context, we'll create 1 to 5 Facebook ads to test some Facebook ads. When we do a Facebook ads test, we launch 100 ads a day, test those ads, and therefore we fail quicker. We spend about the same amount of money as you would if you're only testing 10 ads, but we find our winning ad faster, which then allows us to reduce the cost for customer acquisition. So there is pretty much nothing that you can now do online or offline. And you might be like, well, I run a white-collar, blue-collar services businesses. I'm out in the field doing quotes and all this type of stuff. You can automate, if you're writing a proposal or a quote and it's taking you longer than 15 minutes, why? You're not getting paid to write the quote or the proposal. If you're out there with the tape measure Why? Like, there's now tools you can get. Moja is the name of one of these digital tape measures that you can attach to your phone that literally has the GPS location. It'll build diagrams with elevation and everything in it. You can literally import that into your proposal in seconds. Now you've got the most accurate mapping ever before. You've got people on job sites, on building construction sites, walking around taking photos or videos of a room, and literally it 3D models that, and then AI can analyze what's going on, what's not done correctly. Is this to our standard? Maybe there's stuff missing. Like, all of this stuff exists. What's funny is in Bentonville, it's the home of Walmart, Bentonville, Arkansas, like this little town, home of Walmart, but it's where they do a lot of R&D. They've been drone delivering your groceries for about 2 years now. Drone delivering your groceries. One of the things they've had to do is literally drone survey an entire city to understand where are the trees, how is it different in winter versus summer versus spring versus autumn, all this type of stuff to understand where do the drones have to fly to deliver your groceries. Like, so when you're talking about the level of things and systems you can now build off, like, they're now making these delivery platforms accessible to anybody. I don't know if you're aware, but like Amazon has opened up their logistics network for people to run your product fulfillment. Walmart has done the same thing. So one of the things that we're doing with scaling our supplements business, which is called Bear Remedy, and I document everything we're doing and we share what's going on. We're literally tapping into Amazon, Walmart, and a few other companies on their shipping network, so I can literally have our products in your hands next day. And it costs me less than my normal freight expenditure of sending it via USPS or UPS in normal shipping. So, but that's an automation. So that level of automation requires me to commit to a little bit more volume, but I can save 40% on my shipping bill, which then increases my margins. So when you're thinking as a small business operator, you have a massive opportunity right now to be more agile if you're open to deploying these things and working these things out. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They don't want to work out, how do I make this work and how do I make it efficient for me? Even one of the most common things you could automate is answering your phone. Having messages taken, and when a message is taken, it's loaded into the CRM. CRM is your customer relationship management system, which should be tying together all of your data. Because I can I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you go to a restaurant, you're sitting there in the restaurant, and you always got the hostess going, oh, if you want to reserve, just go to our website. Oh, are you on our website? Okay, go and click on book. And they're explaining that while you can hear the phone. And to me, I just hear dollars. Ring, 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 ring. And they're not getting to the phone because they're like, oh, just hold on. Let me just put this other person on hold. And they put this other person on hold. I'm like, if they were doing customer service, they could have just had that person book right now, right? But let alone an AI could be answering the phone, taking the reservation, booking, sending text message conversations, and everything else with that. So, and doing it 24 hours a day, let alone doing it in 99 languages.
Yeah, the biggest area that I've seen automation really, really take off is in outbound calling and also in lead scoring and lead generation. The first thing I think of whenever I'm starting a new project or building a new system is, how can I automate this to make myself more efficient? You know, yep. I created an app or an automation where I would analyze people's men's hair loss. Okay, and it would send them a detailed report via email of what their score was in Norwood Hamilton hair loss scale. So, the reason I bring that up is I think people have to be a little bit creative, and think about what the potential it can do. So, well,
and let me add a disclaimer to that. When we're talking about automation, a lot of people might be like, "I'm not technical. I can barely use my phone." I'm like, if you cannot draw out the flow on the back of a napkin or one piece of paper. It's too complicated, right? And I don't mean folding out a napkin and having it like on all sides of the napkin. I'm talking about it. I click this button. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. Like, that's automating. It's literally workflow optimization. And you need to think through, how do I do it now? Not necessarily how would I make it perfect? Because it's not going to be perfect. It's going to iterate. And then the second challenge to that would be, how do I get this live by Friday? Not a 3-month build, not a 6-month build, not a 12-month build. How do I, if today's Monday, how do I get it live by Friday? If today's Thursday, how do I get it live by Friday? And work out what you could deploy, and you'll be amazed by using tools like Make, Zapier, N8N, SynthFlow. There's 100 of these tools now that literally allow you to deploy rapidly and iterate. And I think a lot of the bigger companies with more employees don't like iterating. They want things to be perfect, because if they're trying to perfect it, they can kill it. And it's not what they're doing intentionally. But look, we just helped one client load 1 million products into their database inventory, right? So they could be more efficient with product quoting. And their employees started to buck, because now they had to go and add the products that were in the catalog already into the quote, which required them to click a few more things. Oh, it's taking us longer. But they saved hours in the quoting process. They were more efficient. Accounts had all this data. But because the employees had to now adapt and couldn't say that they were researching a product catalog for hours on end, right? It was problematic.
Yeah.
And this is the kickback that you have. It's amazing the kickback you'll have to automations, because I think the fundamental flaw is people are scared to lose their job. They think that the automation is going to replace them, and they don't understand that they need to augment with automation to be efficient.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It's an attitude. There's that innate fear, and I think it's been even more exemplified with generative AI. People are like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. No, I preach all the time. It's a collaborative partner. You got to work together with it. And, people, it's human nature. I mean, that from our background, it's human nature to be afraid of something, especially when you don't understand it. But I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, predictive analytics. How much predictive analytics are you doing, especially with your background in behavioral, analysis when you were in the field before?
Yeah, so one of the big things we do with predictive analytics is we'll take your customer set and your ideal buying customer, which I've done. So I'll give you an example. So with our supplement company, Bare Remedy, what I've gone and done is I've created our ideal buying types based on the problems they were having, right? And then I morph that into the 4 personality styles as a baseline, because if I only write my ad copy in one voice, I'm only speaking to 25% of the audience. So what we now do is we create 4 versions of every ad that's optimized to the specific personality style, and we can even send that to a specific landing page. But what we do make sure is the landing page or the website they go to literally has the different language modalities of each personality style. The core 4 to start with. You can make it as complex as you want, right? So we use that in a lot of advertising to improve our ads and our ROI. And then we also like to understand, you can profile linguistically how a customer communicates with you, so you can understand how to optimize that follow-up. So it can be more streamlined, more effective. Someone who wants more details, wants more research, wants more information, you can provide that information up front without them asking. So we use a lot of the personality insights. I always train my team in some fundamental linguistics or body language parameters, just to understand, because 80% of everything we say is literally nonverbal. So if you don't know some of the common nonverbal indicators, you don't even know when you've got an objection or someone doesn't believe what you're saying. So therefore, you didn't lose the sale because of price. You lost it because at this point you said something and they weren't able to ask the question they had, or they weren't able to get the objection they had at that point in time answered. And it's very fundamental. A lot of people make sales harder than it has to be or want some specific script or formula. It's really just, can I relate and connect to a human? Can I identify this human's communication style? And can I adapt? Sometimes it means you've got to slow the hell down and take a breath. Other times it means you've got to be happy and dance a little bit more, or maybe use your hands, like whatever it is. But I think people forget, and one of the things, the big problems I'm seeing is people aren't understanding communication anywhere near as much as they need to, even to survive in this world, because of technology. So does that make sense on some of the fundamental ways we use it, from a communication style, a product fulfillment style? When you're talking about product fulfillment, I make sure we've got text message follow-up, email follow-up, video follow-up, live event follow-up. So we're using different modalities rather than just go, oh, I sent you an email. Okay, but how do you even know that the email got delivered? Or it even got read. Someone was saying to me the other day, oh, we've got a 60% read rate on our emails. So do you know that most security software and companies that they use will literally open the email, which is triggering your email to have a higher read rate, when really you've got a 3% read rate, because the security software opens the email and that triggers the flag of email open rate. So are you using the wrong data to analyze what you think is happening? Because you can use data to justify everything. And that's one of the bad things with data.
Right. If it's bad data to start off with, or it's skewed. You just brought up a very, powerful illustration there. The software that opens up your email is going to trigger that open rate, and you're going to say, oh, wow, I'm doing great. I've got a 35% open rate on my emails. Well, no, duh.
I've had people quoting me 90% open rates. I'm like, your shit ain't that good, my friend. No way you've got and they go, oh, we're sending 6,000 emails. We got a 90. Dude, no. I wish you the best, but you're deceiving yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I interviewed a guy earlier this year that created that software that does that exact thing. So that was a big eye opener for me. And you brought back memories. I started to chuckle a little bit. Kinetic interviewing has, understanding people's body language, understanding, what they're feeling. Are they tense? Are they relaxed? And at the end of the day, we can do all the automation, we can do all the marketing, we can do it all. At the end of the day, it's a human being that purchases our product. And sometimes we forget that, Well,
what's fascinating is there's a lot of businesses who are missing the market shift. They're getting lost in the world of AI, but not understanding the problems that their customers have and how the marketplaces are working. And it's really been fascinating because I started in e-commerce and I'm getting back to it. And I'm going to bring a new topic up. TikTok Shop. Still valuable, still viable. And a lot of businesses don't realize that new customers research and find you in TikTok Shop because the Asian methodology of buying is going and watching videos and looking at the coffee shop, the restaurant, the surveyor, the architect, whoever it is, visually through a video on TikTok Shop, and then going to other platforms to make repeat purchases. So TikTok is like discovery. Twitter is like discovery. Then they go to Amazon to buy. All right. So but if you're trying to run an e-commerce business and you're not leveraging or understanding this, and you treat all platforms the same, you're missing a massive market utilization there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I look at it from the funnel perspective. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube are all awareness. They're at the awareness stage of the marketing funnel. And then Amazon, I've noticed now, has videos on products. So you'll see actual product reviews by people that are doing it. And they're getting
Amazon actually has their own AI called Rufus. I only found about it because I had to engage this Amazon company to actually help us with their stuff, right? I didn't even realize it, but on their page, there's actually got this AI chatbot, which is suggesting the questions that people want answered. And what they don't tell the sellers is when you're writing your product descriptions and your product details, the more you can answer the questions that they're predicting people will have about your products, the higher they'll rank and rate your products. So they're trying to put that data back in. So when they're trying to predict the thoughts in your head, how do I get them answered on this page as quickly as possible to facilitate that transaction? But most people will never even look at that data. We actually built a tool for a client that literally they can put in all the products, their competitors' products, their products, and it literally goes to Amazon, pulls all the Rufus predictive questions, so then they can write blog posts about it. They can create promotional videos. They can create social media posts. They can go back and optimize their product listings to answer all of those questions. And what do you think happens? Sales just start ticking up. Like, it's fascinating. Like, all of the data is there if you'll ask the right people, how do I pull it? How do I leverage it? How do I use it? You don't have to pay top dollar for any of this stuff.
Are you familiar with the concept of answer engine optimization?
Yep. Yeah. We use that a lot. We actually one of the big things we do right now is we create SEO glossaries as part of our SEO strategy, which is an old school strategy, very old school. I learned about this stuff back in.
Hey, digital marketers, entrepreneurs, and tech enthusiasts. Ready to elevate your AI game? Check out the AI-Powered Marketer newsletter from Keith Bell, host of the AI-Powered Marketing Show. The AI-Powered Marketer newsletter is your go-to resource, packed with actionable insights, cutting-edge tools, and the latest news in AI and digital marketing. Whether you're optimizing sales funnels, exploring new AI strategies, or staying ahead of industry trends, this newsletter has you covered. Don't miss out on the chance to supercharge your marketing efforts. Subscribe now. Just click the link in the show notes to sign up today, and remember, the future of marketing is here and it's powered by AI. See you in the newsletter.
We create a glossary. Yeah, so what I do is, like, every industry, doesn't matter what you're in, has a glossary of terms. Like dentist, doctor. With our supplements, we do mushroom supplements, essential oil. So we literally defined every essential oil and created like this 1,000-word blog post that answers, literally, it's like a dictionary, defines what the hell this term is. Because a lot of people are literally searching whatever meaning, like definite, or they heard something in a presentation. What does this mean? And then they go to a nice article that's got videos, it's got all images and all this type of stuff, got your links to your products, got links to your call to action, and you pick up traffic. Because what we found is the wider we can make that funnel on answering people's questions at the top, the more traffic that comes in. We have had 800% increases in our traffic organically to our new websites that we do this. And all of it's done through AI. We generate 500 keywords. We use AI to write the articles and then rewrite the articles and to pass the AI checks. And then we deploy it. And then we put it into Google Search Console. Like, I don't know how many companies we sit with that don't even have Google Search Console activated on the website, but yet they're paying an SEO team, which means Google's trying to tell you what it wants from you. And it's like you've built the house, but never bothered putting a front door on the site. Like, I had a very expensive SEO team tell me that their website was ranking just as high as Apple. I'm like, do you really, really think that? Like, this is what you think. And they never had the Search Console's indexed. And what they couldn't prove to me is their inbound traffic. So literally, it took us our first month and they only had like 50 page visits because of their traffic, because they just didn't have it connected. They were using other tools that were using approximations of data, not real data. Like, this is, and I think if anyone who's listening to this, people still listening to this, there's one thing you could take away. Try to get as real-time data as you can on the pulse of your business. How many people searched my keywords today? How many times did my ads show up? How many leads did we get? How many calls did we make? How many calls did we miss? How many calls back did we have to make? Like, there's a whole checklist of real-time data. not just sales, cash in the bank, finance, whatever it was, right? Like it could be even hours taken to call lead, hours taken to close lead, hours taken to fulfill lead. Like if you can just start getting real-time data, your world will change because you're not lying to yourself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and automation definitely helps with that, and AI definitely helps with that. Explain a little bit more about how, like, I'm still learning about this whole concept of AEO and, answer engine optimization. Is that something that's working together with SEO, or like, how does it work?
Yeah, well, it's just people literally have questions, right? So all you're doing is writing content, creating content around people's questions. So therefore your content shows up, because a lot of people will just go 3 best restaurants in my area, right? But like what they're not putting is like what people wanting is a suggestion, or I've got a question about Middle Eastern food. Is it dairy free? So that can actually be some of the data you can see is the 3 best dairy-free Mediterranean restaurants. And then you create content around that. The 3 best lactose intolerant, gluten-free, whatever it is. It's more specific usually because there's literally a question that people are answering. But you want to be aware of that a lot of this traffic is just predictive of maybe. But then there's also always search data from Google Search Console, for example, that'll literally tell you what people are searching, how they got to your site, and therefore what you need to optimize based on the questions they have, right? So every platform, Amazon, TikTok, is all trying to better improve their AI to answer the questions in your head. And a lot of us, when we create content, we just go, oh, my product has these features. And to be honest, who gives a crap? How does your feature connect to a question or a problem I have? If you create content with ChatGPT in that regard, you'll be 100 times more effective. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes back to your original point from the very beginning of the interview. You have to know who your buyer is, and you've got to know everything about them. And one other point that I think you'll probably agree with is that buyer persona is not a static, it's not a static thing. It's constantly evolving and growing, and you're learning more. What language do they use? A realtor is going to use different language than a podiatrist.
Oh, that's a great point, because a lot of people don't even realize that they optimize to the wrong buyer persona because it's of where they came from. Oh, I was a real estate agent, so therefore everyone must be a real estate agent.
Right.
No, that's not true, right? Like, and the thing is your journey may not be your buyer's journey, or may not be your top 10% buyer's journey. Why optimize? And I see a lot of people just trying to compete on price. You do not need competing on price is the worst form of marketing you can do, because there'll always be people cheaper. Doesn't mean they're profitable. Like, you don't realize then that you're literally you're paying your customer to take your product, your time, your service, rather than them paying you. And I think people need to really be aware of that, particularly with everything that happens in an economy, shipping, tariffs, logistics, time, freight, increase, all these increases. And if you aren't increasing the price of your product, how are you profitable? How do you hire people to have this burden of even rents? Like I see a lot of companies now, like, do you really need the office rental? Some people are like, yeah, we've got to have everyone go back to the office, but do you really need it? Like, what's the ego attached to having an office? My team are all virtual. I have an RV where we travel across the country and I do all this work, and I'm more efficient and profitable because of it.
And probably happier.
Yeah. I don't have to sit in traffic, and because if I don't like my neighbors, I go, screw it, I'm going down the road. I'm going to go have some fun. I'm going to go work from the boat today. And I know it's annoyed some of the clients that I've had, but like, I get more work done from a team that's optimized than having to have people in an office and spending time in airports and all this type of crap. Like, the game has changed, but also the world has become more international.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll give you a practical example. as a small business owner who's growing a supplements and oils company, right? We had to get labels, literal labels for products, right? So that go on the bottles. Not sexy. This is not sexy, right? I'm like, okay, let me call some local printers, right? I had quotes for this product ranging from $180 to $570 for one thing of rolls, right? And then I was sitting there going, interesting. I've got to order 5 of these right now for 5 of our products, right? So I'm like, that's going to be a crap ton of money. All of these people wanted 2 to 3 weeks lead time. I'm like, interesting. I jumped onto Alibaba. I put up a quote proposal. Within 24 hours, I had 20 companies directly from China giving me proposals. And for $150, I had all 5 of my labels, and I had 2 of each roll getting sent to me. And there was like $40 for shipping. And I still had it here inside of a week.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, you are not necessarily competing with Jim down the road. You're competing with everyone from a Google search. You don't understand that. Like, if you're doing certain things, you might be catering to a market of people who run investment properties or secondary houses or all this type of stuff. They may not even be in the area.
Yeah. They could be anywhere. What's the term for it? The vagabond, the road warrior, the person that's out there that's living the laptop lifestyle. That's the ultimate dream, to be able to work wherever. And there's people I know that are going to Bali, and they're working in Bali for 6 months, 7 months out of the year, and then coming back and working in the United States. So there's a definite benefit to it. So. Well, I could pick your brain for probably a couple days, but I'm gonna wrap it up here, and then just if somebody wants to find your company, Ben, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Yeah, so the easiest way to do that is just reach out to help@automateboring.net. If you want to see the company that we're actually scaling and leveraging automation to scale and deploying different things as a showcase piece, it's bareremedy.net, B-A-R-E remedy.net. We're doing a whole lot of amazing stuff there, helping people on their holistic journey. But yeah, and I provide people consultation for free and help them brainstorm ways to deploy automation. Doesn't mean I will even want to be able to help you, can help you, or want to even work with you, because my biggest profitability now is literally scaling a business where we can deploy this for ourselves. But I'm more than happy to help people understand what's even possible to automate. What could we automate? And I'm more than happy to share you some stories on here's some of the landmines you might want to avoid when you're doing that, because you're working with someone who's literally done it or doing it. So it's a fast crash course, if that's what
Have you stepped on any landmines? I'm sure.
This is why I am bald and I have no hair. All I do is I step on multiple landmines every single day, and I'm like, that's okay.
Best way to learn.
Yeah.
Best way to learn.
Yeah.
So, well, Ben, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, and happy to help anyone who's listening.
Thank you for tuning in to the AI-Powered Marketing Show, hosted by yours truly, Keith Bell. We hope you found today's episode insightful and full of actionable tips to power up your marketing strategies with AI. Don't forget to visit the website at funnelosophy.com. There you'll find links to our podcast website, as well as a subscription link to the AI-Powered Marketer newsletter. Here on our newsletter, you can stay ahead of the curve with the latest trends, tools, and tips delivered straight to your inbox. We'd love to connect with you on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Join our community of like-minded marketers. Come on by and say hello. Get behind the scenes content, join the conversation, and never miss an update. Until next time, keep innovating, keep iterating, and stay ahead of the curve with the power of AI in your digital marketing efforts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the AI Powered Marketing Show. Take care.